Geocachomaniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Welcome back to the Geo Gearheads. This is episode 497. I'm Darryl W4, and next to me is Chris of the Northwest.
Hi, Darryl.
Hi, Chris.
Darryl, it's been a good week. You know, we talked before the show. We both had tire issues this week. We must be in sync.
It is quite the challenging week for vehicles, and not at least in a costly way, just in a inhibited mobility way.
There you go. So I didn't ask. Mine was the right rear. Which one was yours?
Same passenger rear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Of course.
Okay. Right.
So you got the wood, and I got the bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Couple of I don't think either one of us had a flat tire, just in danger of.
Right. No, I had pulled off into a parking lot, and I look at it and I go, what is that? And I touch it and I hear tss, as I touch it. Tss. Yeah, that's leaking. I got to change that now. That's not going to last long. Chunk of wood, about the size of a pencil, I would say. But, it was splayed flat at the end, so it looked much bigger than it was.
Yeah. And, at least these were all in, populated areas. Mm-hmm. So no issues to worry about, no safety hazards, as it were. Just,
First time I've ever changed a tire in a shirt and tie. Well, when I had a shirt and tie on, I took them off to change the tire so I could go to my meeting still looking somewhat fresh. But
yeah, it's been years since I've had to change a tire. But the last couple times I tried to change a tire, it didn't work out so well for me because I didn't tell the tire shop not to crank them down all the way.
Yeah.
So I couldn't break them loose with the
little
tire in.
Yeah.
Well, no, I actually had the bigger one, the big
the
plus sign one, right? And I still couldn't get enough leverage.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's what I put in every car, just because it's so much nicer to change a tire.
I just gave up.
Whatever that.
I'll call the roadside assistance. It's like $15 a year or something like that on the insurance policy to get it, and it's like it's just worth having.
Nice.
Yeah, well, the guy comes out with the it's usually a minivan, and then he's got the battery operated impact wrench and just does it. But I keep thinking, I want that impact wrench.
See, there you go. For the $15 a year you've spent for the last how many years, you could own that impact wrench now.
Probably 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I've not had to call them. Well, no, that's not true. I did have to call them on battery issues a couple of times, which is also why I now have the portable battery charger in the car. The little jump start kit, not the charger.
Yeah. I keep telling myself I need that in my car.
They're handy to have, not just for the jump starts, but it's, most of the ones that I've seen lately, it's also the USB power source.
Right.
So if you do happen to get stuck, you've got enough juice in there to charge your phone for multiple days. Yeah, I think most of the jumpstart kits I've seen, the little ones, still do at least 10 charges on an iPhone 8 Plus.
So yeah, next time I see one of those on sale, I'm just going to grab it.
Yeah, definitely a nice tool to add to the arsenal.
I've got a car that doesn't get driven much anymore. Just, since 2020, it was my son's go to school car, and he's been home,
sure,
remote learning for all this time. So, I got to get out and drive it every now and again. Well, the battery kept dying on it. I'd charge it up, battery dead. So I finally got to the point of I'll charge it up, and now I just leave a battery terminal loose, right? Put it on when I want to drive it, take it off. It's worked for months that way.
Oh, interesting. So something is draining it in the car.
Draining the battery. And if you were to drive it, on a more regular basis, you probably never notice.
Right. Yeah, it's probably something as simple as like the radio, because the
Yeah.
radios take a surprising amount of power, and for some reason, a lot of them tend to like to stay on.
For
Yeah,
the
and I know
clock
it's
of some
yeah,
sort.
yeah. Well, it was more than just the clock. A lot of them actually use power to store the presets and everything, which just seems insane. Why would you not do some kind of non-volatile?
Why? You've got a power source. It's always there.
Right. I think it's just they don't expect people to not drive cars.
Right.
Of course you're going to drive your car. What else are you going to do with your car?
Let it sit out. It's fine.
So anyway, but yeah, that's a nice thing to have. And one of the very, very cool aspects of using one of those jumpstart kits or having it available, it's a 12-volt power supply with alligator clips, basically. Those West
Yeah.
Virginia Tim caches? Uh-huh. There you go.
Oh, now I can just buy one saying, honey, I needed it for geocaching.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not for
But
safety.
I actually went to use one. I think it was down at Going Caching, but there were already people there.
Okay, so you didn't need it.
So I didn't need it. Oh, yay.
Okay,
That was fun.
we're not talking about road caching this time. Surprisingly enough.
Nope, we did that last week.
Exactly. This week we're talking about caching motivation. I need some motivation. I can't get no motivation. I should write a song.
I don't think you should be allowed to write songs.
Oh, okay.
I know I shouldn't be, and I think you're probably worse than I am.
Okay.
But that said, we do need some motivation to get out caching, especially in the very, very hot and very, very cold months, which for a lot of people, this is getting into that very, very hot period.
Or cold.
Most of our listeners. Yeah, most of our listeners are up here in the northern hemisphere. And we do have quite a few from like Florida where it's been insanely hot.
Yes.
Well, and it's been insanely hot by you and pretty hot by us.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, we hit 108 here, which is insanely hot for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got, most of my, I shouldn't say most anymore. A good part of my team is in the, for work, is in the Bay Area.
Mhm.
And they've been complaining about how hot it is out there.
Mhm.
Yet they'll wake up in the morning and it's in the 50s still.
Right. Yeah.
So going, from the 50s to the hundreds in Fahrenheit
and back.
Yeah, not nice for your health for sure.
I called that our 7-day free trial to Arizona. I didn't like it, so I sent it back.
Okay. Wow.
Cancel my subscription.
But yeah, we're going to get to the actual topic, which is the talking about the different ways that you can motivate yourself for getting out and going caching. And today we're going to focus on some of the challenges, the streaks, that kind of stuff that you can get from the various stats. Now, for me, the easiest one to always talk about is the geocaching.com stats.
It's really nice when they added those a few years ago. They're right there. They're easy to use, easy to find. Not complete, right? They're not as detailed as some other stats, but they're easily referenced. See, Darryl? People agree.
Yeah, John says that you would have a very interesting song, at least. I still don't think we should try it. Knowing us, we'll probably get the takedown notice.
Yeah, that's true. And you don't want to hear me sing. I don't sing for a reason.
Yeah.
The choir director paid me not to be in the choir.
All right. Getting back to the geocaching stats. One of the things that dawned on me as I was looking at the stats, I believe that the stats are only available to paid members, or there was something. Yeah, the premium members. I think there was something about them that was better for premium, but I don't think you can get to the full stats if you're not a premium member. So we're kind of assuming that you are a premium member as we talk about this, because my guess is if you're looking for the caching motivation, you're probably spending the $30 a year or whatever it is to be a premium member anyway.
It's a really good point. Yeah, you probably are.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my stats.
No way.
Yes. My stats. There we go. Okay. So here's my stats, which are kind of sad.
Oh,
That's
mine
not too bad,
was
actually.
comparison. Except for the longest slump, I've got you beat.
Yeah, my longest slump was because of COVID.
Oh,
Pretty much from COVID lockdown through Big Blue Switch Day.
my longest slump was because I bought a house.
That can do it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I put all the effort into that and not going out. So,
but yeah, we have a whole bunch of information in here that can fuel your stat motivation. And the first one we wanted to mention was the streak. And we've got Team LaRue joining us today, who's one of those who knows it. And they were on one of our past shows talking about the streaking, the daily streaks. So this one is always one of those popular ones to hit. You can find so much in this. Just make sure you get cache a day. Log the cache a day, and from when to when. Nice and handy. But it's only going to show your longest streak,
right
in here, not your current streak. That's down here. So I have 0 consecutive days with a find.
Same with me. My longest streak is only 12 days. I'm not a streaker. It just doesn't.
I have 12 with a 3 after it.
Yeah, I know.
I did mine from the 31 days of August and kept going. And I decided, I was having enough trouble after the 100-day mark that I wanted to finish up and be over with it, especially because it was December.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part about that is we talked about it on the show many times, the big New Year's Day celebration up here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had gone another month, I would have had plenty of caches to find. But it was really just that caching stopped being fun.
Right.
Geocacher Ken says that his longest slump was 41 days because he was packing and moving. But he's got us beat by far.
Holy cow. That's binary.
Yes.
It's binary 1, 2, 4, 8, 10.
I was going to say, I think that is 10.
I had to do the math. Sorry. I'm sorry.
So
you had
10 is 10 days. Yeah. So 1,010 days. That's awesome. And Team LaRue, if they're still listening, what are you guys up to? Because I thought it was a lot more than that.
Wow.
They've been at this for a while.
I'm still amazed by 1,000 days. That's 3 years ish.
Yeah. And I want to say that Team LaRue's been doing it for more than 5. But in any case, we'll move on to the daily and yearly counts. This is what I've been working on this year. How many of us say, hey, we want to find, more caches than we did last year, which was all I was hoping for this year, or, a cache a day, or, I want to find 1,000 caches this year. So this is where you can easily check that. You've got your individual years listed, and you've got how many with the find count. So, per day. So this is your current find count for that year. We're still in 2021. It's not dividing out by 365, of course, because we haven't gotten that far. So you can't, and this is one of the hazards for those who are trying to say, hey, I want to hit that 1.5 caches a day mark by the end of the year. If you hit that mark in November, you have to keep going.
Right. Exactly.
Don't let it stop or you will screw up your count.
Right. It's from the start of the year till today is what it's calculating.
Right. It's to the latest date of that year that's been achieved. So, like 2020 obviously is past. So that's all of the days. But for the current year, yeah, it's giving you your current find count per day. Then the next one is the 366 challenge, which Renee is actively trying to fill her grid. And
Nice.
this one's a little bit confusing for some people. This is the calendar day. So it's the month and the day of the month. It is not year. It doesn't matter. It's just you have to have found a cache on each of those days. So only one cache, turn it green on, every single day of the calendar, including leap day, which is always the most challenging one.
Exactly.
So even though Renee did not have the chance to really dig into this until now, she did have leap day because I made sure that she went out for leap day to get a cache.
Otherwise, it would be sad.
Yes. So I only have 18 caches on leap day.
I have 26
Ooh, you have more caches than I do on leap day.
on leap day. There we go. Let's end the show now. I have more caches than Darryl.
Well, one of the interesting things that you might notice is Christmas Day is my biggest caching day on the day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I have 263 caches on Christmas Day.
2.
My next best is only 206 on February 26th, which I think is when I did one of the power trails. Hence, I got that.
I haven't done a power trail. My best day is only 108.
I have a 205 on, what is this? This is May 26th. And then New Year's Day, I have 175. And I think we already kind of hinted as to why I have the most caches on New Year's Day. Well, not really the most, but. Oh, MC3 Cat says that you guys need to do a power trail sometimes.
Hey, MC3 Cats, you're on. And happy birthday.
Ooh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So getting back to the stats on here, the last one of the challenges that I want to talk about is the Fizzy Grid. And this one is the worst named of the challenges because it has nothing to do with anything fizzing.
Oh, man, I love fizzy drinks. Fizzy lifting drinks.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with anything that fizzes, including Alka-Seltzer.
Oh.
Which is a brand, so I probably shouldn't have said that. But in any case, this is your difficulty and terrain grid. The Fizzy came from the cacher who put together the stats to generate this grid initially. Which, what was that called? It was Fizzy Tools? That's not the right name. Shoot. I had this in my head. Fizzy Magic. Okay. But no, he had the toolkit that he had published. And I can't remember what the name of the toolkit was. But in any case, and I had it, before the show, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your terrain and difficulties. And the goal of the Fizzy Grid is to fill each and every one of these squares. I still haven't finished mine, which is kind of sad because I've been geocaching for like 16, 17 years now, something like that. 16, I think. So I haven't actually gone for the Fizzy Grid. It's these really challenging combos that you'll have a hard time finding. Yes. But if this is what you're looking to do, they have this handy little fill in your grid button down here that will show you all of the caches near you that have combinations that you can use. Or I should say that you need. So it's a handy tool for those looking to do it. You can also go and find these combinations in Pocket Query so you can download them. Most of the caching apps let you filter to exact on those combinations. And of course, the next thing that we're going to talk about is going to be Project GC, which has all kinds of cool tools for doing that as well. But these are some of the basic challenges that can keep you going, get you motivated to get out there. Yeah, I mentioned the 366 is actually getting Renee out there, and she had a whole bunch of days in June, a few days in July that she was missing. So, we made excuses to go out and hit a cache after work. And it really does help to get you out there and makes it a lot more fun.
I agree.
And
I've got 16 to fill on my Fizzy grid. I think you're just slightly lower than me, but I find it interesting.
Fizzy Calc. Starcacher knows the right name. It's Fizzy Calc. Oh man. And Chris says, or MC3 Cast says, challenges definitely help with getting motivated to go caching. Fizzy and Jasmer challenges are geocaching career challenges, which is very, very true. Those are not the ones that I use to get out caching on a regular basis. That's the ones I do. This is stuff, it's the bucket list kind of stuff, but it still gets you out to go caching. I'm trying to get out. One of the reasons I set that goal of, I want to find at least one cache a day is because I want to hit that 365, of course, but it's making sure I get out and find not just one or two caches. I want to find,
a good amount.
Yeah, a good amount. I'm still looking for the quality of the cache. But, I like going, especially now because I haven't been out caching that much. I like doing a power trail. They're a lot of fun.
I can't say that I've officially done a power trail.
Yeah, it's that.
So I need to hit some.
That whole thing of getting out and doing a marathon kind of thing. I don't, if I were a runner, I don't want to do a marathon every day. When I was a cyclist, I was building up to doing a century ride. I don't want to do a century ride more than, if I were in shape, like 4 times a year at most. You don't do them on a regular basis. It's that massive, all out push, the endurance run to make sure you can do it. And it's fun because you're hanging out with your friends and doing the caching.
And okay, there you go. It's hanging out with your friends. Really, it's the people you're caching with. I far remember that than the caches themselves. Oh, there's a few that, caches that you go, oh, wow, that sticks out in my head. That's great.
The power trails, you don't really remember the caches because most of the time it's the same cache over and over again.
Right.
It's the stories that you hit when you're on the trail. Hey, remember when George tried jumping back into the car and he ended up falling over backwards? I wish I had my camera moments and oops, we signed the wrong thing, or I got chased by that wild turkey.
You got chased by whiskey?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happens when you're on the whiskey trail.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
MC3 Cats says the smaller challenges like calendar challenge are smaller goals that you can do and essentially have done within a year or so. And yeah, that's like that 366 challenge is one of those great ones because it is something that just gets you out every single day.
Right. And, several people modify that. So they want to do a puzzle cache every day of the year. They want to do, trying to think of the others, a multi. I know there's multis, earth caches. Trying to think what other category may fit in there that you can get enough of, right? Yeah, I don't know if you could do maybe a puzzle cache every day. Yeah, you could do that.
Well, I do know people who have gone out over the they go out and they have to get an event every calendar day. They have to get the the different types of caches every calendar day, and they generally don't do the grandfathered caches because that's rough,
too difficult. Yeah,
you're not going to get something like a webcam cache every day because there's just not enough of them in a reasonable range.
I want to say there's only about 100 left in the US.
Right. So I think there are still enough that you could if you already had some, you could probably fill that grid, but yeah, it's not going to happen. Not for most of us, especially not the new ones. Yeah. John says definitely not webcams.
Yeah.
Virtuals, oh, at least we have new virtuals. So that one is definitely possible.
4,000 virtuals went out, right? So there's a possibility.
Yeah. And some people I know are even trying to do the adventure labs and where it goes. So, there's a bunch of different things that you can try to do. Let's move on to the Project GC stats. And what we're going to look at is the profile stats, because that's the quick and easy source for all of the data that you're going to want to use. So, you start off with the fines and everything.
It looks
and
like the timeline from the TVA.
Wow. I wasn't going to go there. But you're not wrong.
Figure that out.
There's an awesome you brought it up, so now I have to talk about it. There's an awesome poster that was on one of the I think it was on one of the lockers that you can actually get as a poster. But it's $44. It's also available in t-shirts and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's spend less time in meetings. The the sacred timeline demands it.
Nice.
I want that. I want to put it up behind my desk at the office because, especially because of, everyone being remote. I literally spend the whole day in meetings at this point.
I'm close to that myself.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to the timeline that we have on Project GC.
The sacred timeline.
Well, it's not sacred.
It is to me. It's my sacred timeline. Yours could be different.
Okay, I'll let you go with that.
I'm gonna write it wrong.
The fines per month is a much easier chart to use here. All of the stats here are better for those of us who are getting into the challenges. Okay, just finding our way says there's less than 300 caches or webcam caches worldwide. So not going to go for that.
You get close though.
Yeah, you could. So if you already have some, you might be able to make it work. But you're looking, you figure you probably have, if there's less than 300, you probably have to have over 100 to actually make that work, because who knows how long they're going to last before they go away. Anyway, one of the things that's really cool on the Project GC is it shows you what your best month is at the glance with the different colored bars. So one of the really nice things for me is I can already see that my June smashed my record month in 2020.
You still have time in July.
I do. Well, and you'll notice also in the stats here, it tells you how many days you've gone caching. So in July, I've only had one caching day. Right. June was 10 caching days. Again, that's in part filling that grid for Renee. So we had extra trips. It's not the, like 8 weekend days a month that you might normally expect. So it kind of reflects that in here, that you can get a little bit of extra info, but it also gives you these average fines per caching day. So if you want to get into some real motivation, you can do that in here. So, hey, this year, I want to make sure I'm finding at least 10 caches, double digits, every day I go out caching. Here's where you can check that you've done that on average with just a glance. Now, this is not the premium member that you're thinking of at Project GC. They have their own paid membership. So for people who are not paying Project GC directly, this only updates, I think it was weekly. If you're a paid member, it updates daily. So this takes longer to update than the geocaching stats do. I'll have the geocaching stats up on my phone because that is updated more frequently than the Project GC stats. So if I'm targeting something, like when I was trying to break that 1 cache a day mark, I was checking on geocaching.com because it was reflecting that before Project GC does. Otherwise, I prefer Project GC. It has a lot more information in a lot better presentation.
Yes, I agree. I love Project GC. I think it's a wonderful tool. Gives far more detail. As you said, better presentation. It's also $30 a year, so it's not unreasonable. If you're really into stats, this is a must-have.
Absolutely. Or if you're into challenges, even if you're not into the stats, if you're in the challenges, this is where those challenge checkers are coming from this site.
Mm-hmm.
And with this, you can create those filters that grab, and it generates its own GPX files that you can download and shove into Cachly or Geo. Wait, no, it's not GeoGo. It's Geo. No, it's GeoGo.
Oh, it's GeoGo now. It used to be
GeoGo. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. We'll have to get him back on the show too. It's been a while since we've talked with him. And in any case, so you've got those easy ways to get those in.
Just Finding Our Way says, I can't imagine doing challenges and long road trips without Project GC.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Now let's get into some of the numbers. This is the sum numbers, which I love that title section. And this is where it has a lot of that data that's fun. One of the things a lot of people really like to go after, especially around mega and giga events, is the busy day challenge, which here is listed under the most cache types in a day. So it's not going to keep track of your most recent one, but show you when you had your best day. So for myself, it's 10 caches. I had the traditional, a virtual, an event cache, a letterbox, a multi-cache, a mega event, a where I go, an earth cache, a CETO, and an unknown.
Why, Darryl, it's the same day for me.
Yes, it is.
10 caches. How did that happen?
And it was in the same spot.
Yes. That was our trip to
St. Louis.
St. Louis. I'm trying to think what Geo Woodstock that was. It was
yeah, I can't remember the name, or the number rather. I can't even remember the name of the city. The only thing I really remember about that
Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, well, and the bike cafe that we had the event at.
Yeah, that was good.
The non-event event.
Yeah.
So this one's just a great one to do when you have that trip that you're doing to some kind of event. You go at it, do as many cache types as you can. And again, this is not something that's going to get you motivated really for your day-to-day caching. This is the, hey, I'm looking to get psyched about a giga event or something like that. Right. I'm going to make the most of this trip. This is not something to take lightly, though. If you're going after a busy day challenge, it does take planning. And, especially if it's in an area that you haven't done, it's not tough. But,
right.
To find a whole bunch of caches. But finding the caches near you that you're near the event that you haven't done to get the icons and make sure that they're still there can be really tough, especially things like the webcams, which we just talked about. There's less than 100 of those in the US.
And we didn't get one that day.
No, we did not.
But now...
And it's also become more difficult because it's harder to list events around megas and gigas.
Right. So getting a mega or giga and then an event in the same day is tough. But you'll be able to add a locationless cache if you can get Signal the Frog. So there's almost a free icon to
or
start
GC 8 Neat.
Yeah, there you go.
So
almost a free icon to get you going.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot that you can do with this one. It just takes planning. So it's a fun one. And then Geocacher Ken says Adventure Labs don't show up on most Cache a Day challenge types, which is an excellent point. They do not. And that's the case with us. We did do an adventure this day, or lab cache as they were called at the time.
Right.
Doesn't count. So there you go. Along the same lines, you have the most countries in a day, and the most states in a day, and the most counties in a day. So all of those, when you're traveling or, looking to do a road trip, this is some excellent motivation to push you forward. We also have some distance in here. That's a good one to play with. Where's my cache to cache distance? Right here. So my total cache to cache distance is 104,899 miles. So keep going. You get more caches, and you keep increasing your mileage. Maximum distance in a
I've only
day.
got 86,000 miles. I've only gone around here 3.5 times.
That, I believe, is actually calculating the distance from each cache in found order.
Right. I believe it is.
So if you go on a trip and find those 2 caches, it measures that the distance twice, essentially, because when you come back, the next cache found adds up that distance again. So it gets pretty heavy. And then maximum distance in a day, 4,005 miles. And that was, I believe, a Seattle trip.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I've only done 1,900 miles.
Yeah. So for you, the Seattle trip wouldn't work.
No.
But it's all about, getting off the plane and finding a cache that same day. And you have to log it the same day.
Right.
Well, you have to log it as the same day, not necessarily on the same day.
Wits End did a Seattle to Tokyo. So he's got me beat there.
Yeah, that's definitely going to beat me too. I'll come on now. Another blah, blah, blah puzzle was my nearest cache found, which I don't think is accurate. So I probably have to check that. And then I have the furthest cache found, which is 4,000 miles away.
Only 2,700 for me.
Which was one of those virtual caches. I forgot that I even had that.
A virtual?
Yes, it was one of the webcams where you had to put aliens into the webcam. So it was a big thing for a little while, and then I think they shut it down. It was like, no, that's not the spirit of it. But we also have the most categories. So most northerly, most southerly, most westerly, and most easterly caches.
Okay, so my most northernly is 50 degrees.
Okay, you're higher than I am. No, you're lower than I am. Sorry, I'm 51.
My most southerly is 21.
Okay, so you are further south, probably Hawaii, I'm guessing.
You're right. Also, my most westerly at 159.
Oh, wow. Yes, that's a good one.
That's Hawaii.
I'm only at 122.
My most easterly is 79.
79
degrees.
West
79.
Wow.
I didn't go very far.
No. That's Ohio?
I think so. It was 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
Ooh, yeah, there's a lot of those.
Pennsylvania.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, you've got all of those most caches. Then you can go to, if you really want to, the highest and lowest points too.
Mm-hmm.
So my highest was Donner Party of 5, which,
tacky.
Donner's Pass. But yeah, that was at almost 6,000 feet.
Sorry, when I clicked on that one, I lost my place. Highest elevation is only for me 58, 56.
I expected you to have me beat on that.
I would expect to have beaten you as well on that one. And that one I found just recently within the last year.
Well, and one of the things, getting onto another one. One of the things that is probably a good thing to get into is the log length. Total number of words, average, shortest and longest. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a fun one to get into. So, probably not necessarily the best thing to do, but
and there are challenges based on that. And there are people that make extremely long logs to help to boost that. So my average is 41. Total words are only 135,000.
Nice. Then we have the
50% of my logs are similar.
sure.
Thank you, Cashley.
I know. I was gonna say, at this point, I do a lot of the same logs with the wildcards thrown in there, the variables. But you have all kinds of extra stats in here: the distance from home, the directions, that kind of the bearings. You've got their version of the Fizzy Grid with their tool to fill it in. Your first 81 finds, oldest caches found, highest and lowest elevation in details, which is always fun. And almost all of mine are, within the same 250 feet. Gee, you'd think I lived in the Midwest or something.
Oh, I need one more cache by date hidden to complete mine.
Wow.
I just looked at this and go, there's one by date hidden. February 8th.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is the finds by date hidden, which is essentially finds by hidden date, rather, not date hidden, which is essentially the same thing as that Project 366 or 366 challenge, whatever you see that named. But this one is by the date the cache was hidden. So it's kind of the inverse. So you go and fill out your finds by found date, which is when you found the cache. And it even gives you the percentage of days that you have. So I'm at 100%. If we looked at Renee's, I think she would be at something like 85-ish%.
Darryl, I have to go. There's one only 12 miles away from me to finish this. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Have a good one. But one of the interesting things is it also has 95 FTF found dates. So that one, you can actually go and use the tool and help figure out when you need to find caches. I think that tool even puts it on your calendar.
Oh, really?
I believe it does. Well, let's take a look.
I'm 12 caches away by finds by hidden month or month hidden.
So, yep, download an ICS calendar file. So,
Is that new?
No, they've had that for a while. And I believe there was a GSAC macro that would do the same thing.
Because I was doing it on my calendar myself to motivate me to get the ones done.
Yeah, when I was doing mine, it didn't have it. Yeah. So it's newer.
Houston, Texas Dave says caches near donut shops keep me motivated.
Nice.
I don't disagree.
You've got the Jasper, which is the finds by hidden month as well. This one is one of the most challenging options you can find. And because I'm missing a bunch of those year 2000 caches, and there's not many of them left.
Hey, we have the same number of months hidden. Of hidden month, 243.
Now, what kind of blows is I have February of 2019 that have no caches hidden. I don't know how I missed that month. And then I haven't gotten anything with dates hidden in April or June of this year, which I'm not terribly surprised. Unless you're going to be an FTF hound, you might have to go and target the more recent caches, especially in areas like mine where it's a little bit more challenging to find those new caches.
I'm actually
there's not the spots to drop caches out like there are in more rural areas.
I'm actually surprised I have 2020 filled out.
I'm not.
I would think that
caches even
less caches.
It's not when they were published; it's when they were hidden.
Hidden, right?
So someone could go and start a cache listing during lockdown, go out and finally hide it, get it published 6 months later, and it's still going to count as that day that they started planning it and created the cache page if they don't update the hidden by date.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very tough one. One of the problems that we've had is some of these spots, the caches have changed their hidden dates.
Oh,
We have one of those down in Ohio that's really aggravated many cachers. So there you go. And then there's a bunch more. If you really wanted to get into it, you could even go and try to find all of the attributes. I'm only missing 2. I'm missing the
missing 3.
friendship. It says I'm only missing 2.
I'm missing 3.
Oh, you're missing 3. Got it.
I got climbing gear required, snowshoes, and power trail. See, I told you I haven't hit a power trail.
Oh, I'm missing the power trail attribute. None of the caches I have done the power trail attribute. So the partnership cache and the power trail cache, I don't have.
And
but I do have all of the negative attributes.
Why is need maintenance red?
Because it is red.
Okay.
Well, no, it's a warning flag, a warning attribute. So it's actually listed in red on the cache page when it shows up.
Okay.
So yeah, that's wow. That took longer than I expected, actually, but that's like the basic cache stuff, cache stats stuff that really helps to keep you motivated and getting out there. So,
Starcacher is working on several current challenge goals. Mystery calendar fill, 14 days left this year. Regular calendar fill rounds, 6. 4 days, 7, 9 days. So filling the calendar multiple times. The monthly FTF streak is currently 15 months. Monthly hide streak is 67 months. Holy cow.
Yay. Good work. That's awesome.
That is awesome. Well, if you're down in Ohio, you'll be able to find Starcachers caches because he's putting them out every month.
Yeah, I'm just not in that part of Ohio. Well, I'm not in any part of Ohio often anymore. COVID kind of stopped the traveling for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm going to be down in the other side of Ohio in a couple of weeks for Midwest Geobash. We're going to go be down there on the Saturday like we always do. So if anyone's from the show is going to be down at Midwest Geobash on Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, give me a shout on the caching app, the official, what do they call that? Messenger?
Yeah, I call it the geocaching messenger.
Geocache. Yeah, there you go. The geocaching messenger. And let's try to connect because that's always a lot more fun than, doing anything on your own.
Oh yeah. And you'll have something to bash. You can go bash.
That's terrible.
I'm
curious to see what it's like. I actually went down last year, met up with Shaved Ewok, on a boat, of course. I'm trying to remember. There were other people there from the committee, and I can't remember which ones. So I'm going to stop naming names, but because I'm probably going to get it wrong. But yeah, it was fun going down there. I did do a bunch of caches. We did some adventures that had been set up that we never got around to. It's one of those when you're going down for a day trip, there's always something to do in that area because there's so much that's been set up for the people who are staying, 4 or 5 days, that you're always going to find something. And they replace most of the caches on the fairgrounds every year. And they have some really amazing caches sometimes. Like one of them when Joshua was there with us was his probably favorite cache of the year. It was a Back to the Future DeLorean with the flames and everything.
Oh, wow.
It was a time traveler's theme, I think, that year. But, that year, the only thing I remember is that cache. So, yeah, it's hanging out with the friends, of course, but they do have usually some really good caches to check out and fun things back in the woods, especially one year it was like a microwave oven cache. They had the which we've seen those before too. Starcasher says that he's going to be there Wednesday through Saturday, so he's going to have all of the inside tips for me.
Me. Man, I feel like I'm missing out now.
Well, you are missing out.
Okay, I'll just have to jump on a plane and go.
Okay.
That was
if you want, you can crash with us.
You've seen me drive then.
Wow. Okay. I do actually pass an airport right on the way. If you can fly in there, we can pick you up on the way down and you'll save like an hour of the drive. That
Okay.
hurt, did it?
Yeah, that hurt.
Sorry.
So I just have to plan my landing when you happen to be driving by. So,
well, no, I'll pull into the parking lot. I don't want to pay for the parking though, so I'll just have to circle in the loop out front.
Okay.
I'm not sure which airport that is, to be honest.
When I'm over Wyoming, just keep circling. I'll be there soon.
Oh, talking about Loki. That was one of the best. Now we know what happened to DB Cooper.
DB Cooper. Isn't that amazing? That was a good episode.
That was awesome.
So I'll watch it tomorrow night.
I laughed and laughed and laughed. All right. Houston, Texas Dave says, yeah, you could probably skydive right onto the fairgrounds.
DB Cooper tried that and nobody ever found him.
Right. Well, and now we know why.
He was geocaching.
Nope. Because he's Thor's brother.
Yeah. Rainbow Bridge.
All right. Why don't we get out of here? Because we're just getting silly.
Now we're getting silly?
No. But we are getting silly.
What we need to tell you is make sure you check the Cacheamaniacs website at cacheamaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing geogearheads@cacheamaniacs.com or through the many channels of social media. Your support helps keep the Cacheamaniac shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cacheamaniac shows. Geo Gearheads is produced by Chris Umfenauer and Darryl Wattenberg. The show's copyright 2021 by Darryl Wattenberg. All rights reserved.